All right, Jay. We are live, rocking and rolling.
All right, what's happening? How you doing, buddy?
Super excited to have you here with me, Jade. And just for everybody that's joining us, this is Open Book Live, where we tell you what we're doing to succeed, open and real.
Open
And
and real.
today we're joined with one of my mentors who's really made one of the biggest impacts in my business, Jay Kinder. And, Jay Kinder is someone that, has a ton of experience in the real estate industry, built his team to 30 transactions, went independent, had an independent brokerage, recently joined forces with eXp Realty as a platform to, grow nationwide like we're doing over here. And, he had 14% market share, multiple best-selling books, everything that you can do in real estate, Jay has done it. And I'm super excited because for us here as a team, specifically, without the coaching, the mentorship, and the training of you guys, and everything that you've given us, packaged and brought to us, we wouldn't be where we are with our team. And I don't know if you saw my post from yesterday. I mean, we're having an amazing start to the
Amazing.
year,
Killing it. Was it
unbelievable, super
37?
exciting.
32
32
transactions?
transactions. Yeah, 32 transactions, over 7 million. It's just unbelievable. But I couldn't have done that without you guys. So that's why I'm so excited to have you here.
I appreciate
So
that.
for those that are joining us, we're going to be talking about, becoming an expert advisor in your market, building authority, lead generation, must. We're going to be going deeper on those topics that I've been touching on throughout the week. What's your unique selling proposition? I'll tell you what mine is, which was borrowed from Jay himself. And as I told you, you can borrow mine when we get into that, and I share that. I'll just open it up for Jay to kind of start talking about why did you decide to become an expert advisor? Like, when did you learn that that was key to growth and success? And, how does
Right,
that align with what you're doing today?
right. I think it's a great question, Carlos, and I look at it from this perspective. There was a point in my business, and you've had this happen to you in your business too, where you shift from chasing the business to attracting the business. You shift from making all the calls to the calls are coming to you, and that is, I remember the day that, like, it's almost like there's a day that it happens when you go, whoa, this is different. This is a different business than it was yesterday. Like, you feel, that's how it feels when it happens, and there's this kind of shift, and you go from attracting business instead of chasing business. And so over the years, as we became successful, you got to the number two in the world for Coldwell Banker, and then stepped out of the business in 2010 or 11. To pursue, really adding value to people's lives and doing things like you're doing, Carlos, in your market, and helping agents really grow a business. That became coaching, and the challenge with coaching was, that everyone had to go back and implement whatever it is that you're trying to teach. So that was always the hardest part. And anybody I've ever talked to that was that was struggling to become successful, it wasn't that they necessarily didn't know exactly what to do, but it was the, how do I get this implemented? All these things implemented. And if you have the right mentor or the right coach, or the right, you're in the right environment, or you're partnered with the right people, it becomes easier, because at least you have some success that is duplicatable. But it's still, you at least have a track to run on, but you still got to go back and implement. So we actually founded NAEA, the National Association of Expert Advisors, because it was a platform where you could come get training. I was doing training. They're doing training today in Dallas. I was on stage all day yesterday, teaching the principles behind the Certified Home Selling Advisor designation, and the actual listing presentation, the value proposition, and how you set appointments, and how what you send out before you ever arrive on the appointment. All those things that position you as the expert, or if you're not doing them, you go in and you're in a selling environment, meaning you get there and you have to sell yourself on why they should choose you. And when you're meeting with a buyer or seller, you have to sell them on why they should choose you. then it's a lot harder because selling creates resistance. So what you want to have happen is you want to be positioned as an expert before you ever get there. And how do you do that? There's systems and processes that that because we're an association, that we make that very duplicatable now. You don't have to go figure that out. And that's the whole reason we created an AEA. It wasn't because we had this desire someday to wake up and create an association. It was because that was the easiest way for us to leverage the principles behind what we knew worked in terms of becoming an expert advisor and clients looking at you like an expert, right?
Absolutely. And you definitely packaged it where it's just plug and play, take it and run. And obviously, I've been involved with the National Association of Expert Advisors for many, many years. And the great thing that it gave me was proven systems to get to over a million in revenue in the real estate profession without you having to be doing the day-to-day grind yourself. And what impressed me the most is that now through what we're doing together and our partnership, you decided to basically offer that opportunity to our partners for free. So
Right.
talk to me a little bit about that and kind of how, because that, I mean, you guys put a lot of work into building all these systems and these resources. So how do you come up with that decision to add so much value?
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't been teaching the boot camps. We have there's plenty of people now that are qualified to teach on that training. And yesterday I was going through the training, and it had been updated several times since I had last done it. And I was looking across the room, and I was just like, man, we are delivering the value. I mean, like it was just impressive. I forget sometimes how much work went into the detail of every script, what words to say, what words not to say. I mean, it's all laid out in such a professional way. I didn't do that. All I did was figure out what worked and try to communicate that in a way that somebody could help me build a system around it. And just very impressed with the team that that helped us build this and keep it going. But I think all of my life I've wanted to add value to people's lives. Like what I've learned from Jay Abraham and mentors that I've had is that everything starts with falling in love with the client, and where do you add the most value, and how do you add the most value to people's lives, and how do you duplicate that as many times as you can. And that's what gives me the most fulfillment. And I think a lot of people when we get into real estate and you get to a certain level of success, you start to really crave helping other people find that success as you have. And it's really fulfilling when you change someone's life. So I'm always looking for what's the best platform to do that. And as an association and a coaching company, historically you've had to write big checks and in order to have the opportunity to work with us. And not that I'm a capitalist. I have no problem charging for value. I don't have a problem with that. But wouldn't it be great if we could align somehow, put all of our fires together, and make one big fire, and partner and take over the real estate industry together. That's always what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to be able to work side by side with you and work side by side with the other top agents in the country. And I think what the platform that allowed that, it wasn't NAEA. I think NAEA is a great third-party endorsement for us because when you think about the real estate industry, no brokerage. And I use the analogy all the time. You're familiar with it. Is what's the difference between a Motel 6 and a Ritz-Carlton? Okay, instantly you know the difference. One's cheapest and one is highest value, highest best experience. And as a real estate professional, we have a choice. We can be an average agent, and we can negotiate we can be known based on discount, or we could be positioned as a higher authority, an expert advisor, and be valued much more by our clients. And my choice has always been I'd rather charge more and add more value than to be trying to be the cheapest, because anybody can charge $100 and put your house in MLS. I don't want to try to be the one that does it for $95. So that's kind of the positioning that I think that we have as an association. But what we didn't have was a platform that really, as a business model, allowed us to partner with you, provide all that value, unless we created our own brokerage or we franchised or did something like that. And we didn't franchise because that seemed like a lot of work, and it was not going to be fun. And fun is one of my core values. I like to have fun, Carlos, as you know, and I think most everybody probably watching this likes to have fun, and fun is a big deal. Me and Mike we paid $38,000 to Dan Kennedy, and we were by the half point of the day. Dan had said, "You got two choices. You're either going to franchise or you're going to go the association route. Which route do you want to go? I'm going to go up and make a sandwich upstairs, and when I come back downstairs, you guys let me know what you want to spend the rest of the day talking about, because the clock was ticking. You know what I'm saying? It was $38,000 day. You want to get real clear about which direction you want to go instead of talking about both." So we looked at each other, me and Michael. We said, man, I think it's going to be more fun, going the route of association. And that's why we did that. And, all the while we were still trying to put the pieces together to really align and partner and add this value in a way that wasn't, people have to buy everything you're doing and continue to stay with you. And you always have customers that come and go. How do we really build something bigger? And we tried really hard to figure out how to do that. And it wasn't until, we stumbled upon a model that was already in place with a publicly traded company that had figured out how to, that was a better platform for expanding our business, as real estate professionals, and aligned us to work together. And that's eXp Realty. And with eXp, what we found was that, wow, their model actually created a financial incentive for the dollars that you already pay, actually for less dollars than you currently pay where you're at selling real estate, to give you everything you need to be successful technology-wise and some of the pieces that we don't provide. And then also, by partnering with us, we can add all the pieces that we have to the table and really add the most, it's the perfect, marriage. And now we can build something as big as we want to build it together. And you've partnered with us. And in essence, at the end of the conversation, I'm not asking you for a credit card, which is, for me, that's my perfect day. My perfect day is add value, add value, add value, add value. And I'm not having to ask you to pay thousands of dollars for my time. This business model has aligned the compensation in this model so well that I'm incentivized to just go out and help you be successful and help you tell more people about the great company that they created. And in doing that, that revenue share opportunity really takes care of the money. So that's been, essentially that's, the reason why we chose eXp. They've nailed the business model, and there's no way in the world I'm going to try to go recreate that. It is a fantastic company, and they've got fantastic leadership. And it's just an amazing opportunity. I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like this, and I've never had more fun than I'm having right now.
I want to talk about the fun aspect of it, because obviously when this all started happening, and I heard people, oh, this is fun, this is fun. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I've never seen an opportunity where the alignment is so congruent up and down the chain to contribute. Right. And that's what makes it fun, because sometimes as a real estate professional, you're in your own island, right? You're like running your team, and people know, like, I was never public open with my business on Facebook. You didn't even know what I was doing. And, I've been crushing it for years, thanks to you guys. But, I'm very quiet, very humble. I don't like to push things out.
Right.
But with these opportunities just up and down the line, I'm like, I want to help people. We want to help more. We want to give more. We want to push more. What problem are you having? Let me help you. What problem are you having? Let me help you. And it's up and down the chain, with yourself included and so many other amazing people that we have in our group. The dream team is just so amazing, because that makes it fun. When you can pick up the phone and get a Jay Kinder on the phone, when you can pick up the phone and get a Brent Gove, and now Stasek, I mean, come on.
Right.
It's just unbelievable. And the fact that you can change people's lives and help them, basically have an easy path to their dreams and their goals, because it's already built out. We've had it. Thanks to you guys. And now we can say, okay, you want to hire a buyer agent? Here, you go. Do it. You want to hire your first assistant? Here, you go. You know how many thousands of dollars I had to pay for that? I mean, it's unbelievable. And now we can contribute that, and that makes it Amazing, amazing, amazing. And I like to go into one of the things that we talked that I was talking about during the week, which is core values and how important that is. And you guys taught me how important that is, not only with growing your company, but the people that you surround yourself with and those partners that you surround yourself with. I get contacted by lenders, title companies, so many different service providers, and the first thing I see, are they in alignment with our values, what we feel is important. And I can imagine that for you, that's always forefront. So how does this opportunity to contribute throughout the nation and help build teams and how does it align with your values, Jay?
Right. So it's it's interesting. I think it's core values is another one of those things that like when I first you know built my team. I tell the story. I mean, I'm sure it's on recorded somewhere. I can't change it now. I borrowed Chad Goldwasser's core values because they were really good. I was like, man, these are really good. I'm just going to use these. These are my core values. And at the time, I just didn't know what I didn't know. And over time, as you build your business and you become successful and you hire people to work for you, and you usually experience things that you don't like, that you stand out a lot more than the things that are the most core to you. And really it is still something that's most core to you. That's actually how you learn, is like somebody that like literally makes the hair on your neck stand up, something that they did or something that they do, you remember that. Oh, that strikes a chord with me, like being late, or having the work ethic that being an A player and just getting things done versus making excuses. Like all the core values that over time were like, that's core. That's who I am at my core. This is how I behave. These are my values. And so over the years, though, they've changed. They morphed and changed, and we got more clear and more concise. And you really get down to like what's really core. Like you just will not live with, and that becomes clear. So the first thing that I did when I looked at this opportunity was I looked at their core values, and it was actually Glenn Sanford, the founder, was on stage, and they were on the name badge at their annual convention. And I flipped it over and I was looking at it, and there was two things that stood out, that really stood out to me. One was sustainability, and that was important to me because I've built a lot of really successful companies, but I've not built what I believe to be the most sustainable. My real estate business, and most of us who build real estate teams up to a really high level, the sustainability is always the question. The recruiting and retention is a challenge that we all face at that level, and there's a churn of agents that come in and go, and there's no real reason for them to stick around. If you add enough value, they become successful enough that they leave and they go on and compete against you. And then you have certain agents that that don't produce and never really quite get there. So that's not very fulfilling when people don't get to their goals, and you're trying to help people and you really care about them, but they don't want it. You want it worse than they do. So so when you're looking at these core values and sustainability, and I've been 20 years I've been humping it as hard as I know how to try to add value to people's lives, but what I'm doing is not sticking. There's something broken there. And so it was important to me that as a company, they were focused on sustainability, and they understood the importance of what they're building being sustainable and not just being a flash in the pan, but building a sustainable business. So that stood out to me. That was really important. And the other thing that stood out to me was the very layer at the very end was one that said fun. And I have I would say in the last few years had a little bit less fun than I would like to have. I'll just put it that way. And it's not it's just not because of anything bad. I'm always having fun, but I wasn't living the life I feel like I was meant to live. And that's what that stood out to me. So I'm like, okay, I want to understand more about that. So as we talked to the leadership team and and really got to know these guys and this company and the executive team, of a now probably valued at $600-700 million. This is a legitimate company. They're the real deal Holyfield. I mean, I believe in them. I believe in Glenn's vision. I believe in Jason Guessing and Vicky Bartholomew. Recently Mary Frances Coleman. Just an incredible executive team. And having built a company, within AEA that's, Inc. 5,000 fastest growing company 7 years in a row, we grew a little bit fast. This company is going off the charts fast. Like I can't even fathom, and they're doing it in a cloud environment. I mean, they're not even in a culture together every day, working daily huddle. They're doing their huddles in the cloud, board meetings in the cloud. They're all at separate locations. It is absolutely fascinating how well they've done with this company. And, despite those things that we would normally think might be challenges, they've been amazing. So, just seeing that was important for me, and knowing who they are, what they're about at their core. It really inspired me to want to be a part of their vision and help, accelerate that. And I feel like we can do that as well or better than anybody. So, that was kind of what those were the two that stood out the most to me, I guess, if you will.
Absolutely. And, with that in mind, like, so alignment with the values, how do you, if you had to teach somebody really quickly how to find their values, how would you go about telling them how to do that?
One simple question. What's the one thing you'd want to teach your kid? When if there's one thing in your life that you've learned so far, that one thing, if you could only teach your kid one thing, what's the one thing you would teach him? Now, you're not going to just come up with one thing. You're probably going to come up with several things. And that's probably really at the core what your core values are. That, in my opinion, that's the easiest way to get there. It's the hardest question to ask, but it's the easiest way to get into okay, that's what we're talking about. I'm definitely going to teach my kid never give up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, I don't know if you saw, did you see the post of Riggs the other day when I was trying to get him to say never give up? Did you see that on Instagram?
No, I did not get a chance to check. I gotta go check it out.
I won't repeat it on here for everyone else to hear, but we were fishing and he was casting his pole and it was hung up over and over and over. He couldn't get it to cast. He's only 4 years old, so the fact that he can even, but he wouldn't give up. And unfortunately for me, teaching him never give up, he does not give up. So we're going to just be out there all day until we catch a fish. And in the wintertime, it's not that easy to catch a fish anyway. So he's just over and over and over. And finally I was like, man, I'm really glad that he gets it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm ready to go inside. And I said, Riggs, what is it I try to teach you? And he does not say never give up. So I'll just leave it at that. For anybody who wants to follow me on Instagram, it may be the funniest video I've ever seen in my life. Definitely big parent fail. So, anyways, that's for me is one that's it's always stuck to me, is never give up. And that's, at my core, what I want my kids to know is that, you don't ever quit. You never give up on your goals and what you want to accomplish.
Excellent. Very, very good. All right, so let's see other things that we have in agenda. I was talking about lead generation and the best lead generation sources. My background was in online lead generation. That's how I created my team. I generated, thousands upon thousands of online leads. Even to this day, I mean, we're just blowing up the charts with lead generation right now. And the one thing for me, and talking about values, right? I'm very high tech, very, very forward thinking, and the reason values are important is because, as I say, you need to vet every opportunity, you need to vet every relationship, you need to vet everything you get into through that filter.
Right.
So if you don't know what that filter is, you could end up into a lot of trouble.
Right.
And for me, evaluating this opportunity through my filters, one of the things that mattered to me was how cutting edge is it? And as you were talking about, being in the cloud and that environment is just unbelievable. I mean, I had the pleasure to be in a room with over 300 real estate agents from across the country, right from my living room,
Right.
and it was just amazing. And I'm like, wow, this is powerful. Right. So technology was super powerful for me, and knowing that the tools, the resources, and the technology and the lead generation platform is specifically aligned with what we believed was necessary to succeed in real estate and what worked was super important, because having that platform set up and having the systems to be able to plug it in, and which is ultimately part of what we offer, right? We want to help them with the right alignment and the right systems to make that platform successful. But not having to worry about the perfect platform is super key. And that's how I did my lead generation. But I know that you have a lot of background, a lot of experience in lead generation. So I just want to open it up to you because my goal with this open book life is going deeper, not just my knowledge,
Right,
but other people's knowledge.
right,
So what would you say to somebody who's trying to ramp up those leads?
right. So, kind of to touch on, what I think, what I think is important when you're looking at how do you solve, the technology problems and challenges. And I had a guy ask me this question yesterday. He's like, man, I've got Market Maker, I've got Top Producer, I've got all these tools, and what's the right tool? And I said, man, that's a really hard question. And I said, it's one that we've been trying to answer for as long as I've been in the business. I've switched CRMs 1,000 times, so painful. We've partnered, we've built technology, we partnered with technology, the best in the world technologies, all trying to solve the problem of these, multiple, all these multiple platforms. And I think part of the thing that goes away when you join EXP is they didn't try to go build the perfect lead generation model right out of the gate. They said, who's the best in the world, and let's just partner with them and provide that technology and just pay for that for the agent, which is ironically, no one else has ever tried that before. Nobody's ever said, here, you want a Commissions Inc. and a conversion site, don't know which one you want, here, you can have them both. Which is, for $50 a month. I mean, we pay way more than that for technology. I think pretty much most of our platforms that we use, and the team versions of them for sure, are $1,500 and up. So, for you as an agent to not have to think about what choice you're going to make is a big deal. And I think we get paralysis, and we have shiny object syndrome. So you go buy everything and you use nothing. So, I think that's, part of the challenge in lead generation is trying to figure out what platform to use. And that goes away, for the most part. You get a choice between Conversion and Commissions Inc., and you can use one or both of them. You should probably just pick one. From what I've heard, the Conversion platform is really working really well. People really seem to like it. And of all the things that I've seen, I think you're not trying to solve the platform of technology that you get solves most every problem that you have in terms of, there's a couple pieces here and there that that you can still use that supplement and add, if you're really rock it, up the business. But as far as lead generation goes, I mean, it's, if you're in real estate and you're not investing in lead generation, then you're not going to grow your business. That's the bottom line. There's you have to make that investment. And when you're not, maybe if you're not selling a lot of real estate, you have a hard time maybe having the platform with the technology that you need in order to convert the most amount of leads. And if you don't have that, then you really can't spend money on lead generation. So, it makes it really challenging. And I think that the money that this frees up for an agent when you join EXP gives them the ability to put more money into lead gen, and they get to consult with the best in the world like us to help make sure, no, don't do this, no, don't do that, here, do it this way. And I think that's really the key to being successful is learning what works, not trying to learn with your own dollars what works, but mimicking and using things that we're using to be successful. We obviously want you to close more deals. So how do we help you do that? We're going to help you with all of those, all those types of questions that you have when it comes to, should I generate leads this way or not? Or what's the script I should use when I do? Or how do I follow up? All of those questions, we have the answers to. And you have at your fingertips. So I think that's the special thing about another special point I think I would make around us and being able to partner with us.
Excellent. And I want to touch on two very key things that I can share personally of my journey. Obviously, I decided to go the custom route, right? And
Right.
I have a custom website. But guess what I was doing throughout the years? Getting into the webinars for Commission Sync, for conversions, and for these different platforms to copy their things and put it into my custom website. Because my philosophy was I don't want to pay $1,000 a month. I'd rather invest up front, get it built, and then I don't have to pay $1,000 a month.
Right.
But getting it now for so cheap, I'm like, you kidding me? I've been copying this thing for so long because, as you said, it's the best in the industry, and here we have it now all available to us, as you said, $50 a month for a tech package, right? And the other thing I
Right.
want to touch on is I know a lot about online lead generation, so I've run my own Google pay-per-clicks campaigns, and I've run, my own marketing campaigns and whatnot. But from time to time, because you never want to feel you're the smartest in the world, right? I
Right.
actually sign contracts with marketers so that they can market, my website and try to generate leads for me. And usually that comes to the tune of $500 a month, up to $1,000 a month, just to manage those accounts, to have an expert manage your lead generation
Right.
campaigns. So if you didn't know how to do it like I did, then you're faced with the fact that if you want somebody to really dial in those numbers, you got to pay 500 or more a month just to have that management.
Right.
And now with our partnership, we get that for free. I mean, how crazy is that? You can take that
Right.
money and put that money into lead generation. I
Right.
mean, it doesn't get any better than that in my opinion. And that's why I'm so excited about this, because it aligns with everything that I was doing to succeed. It
Right.
aligns with, having the best tools, the best technology, the best people managing your lead generation, the best consultants, the best coaching. And it all boils down to taking the guesswork out of growing your business. Because when you decide to go further in your journey, whether that is growing your sales from 10 to 20 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, or getting to over 100, or getting to that millionaire real estate agent mind, and crushing that, you want to compress that time, and you want
Right.
to remove the guesswork out, because in order to be successful in real estate, a lot of the time you have to implement 3, 4, 5 things to see what works, because in your market, very few people are going to tell you what's working because they're competing
Right.
with you. And
Right.
now, because of this setup, I'm talking to agents like right next to me
Right.
that are like competitors of mine, and I'm like, hey, do you have this implemented? Let me show you how to do this. And are you benefiting from this revenue opportunity? Let me put you into this connection here so you can make a few thousand, a month from this opportunity. And those are things that I couldn't do in the past, because one thing that you taught me, Jay, is to zero-based marketing,
Right.
right? Partnering with people to zero-based marketing, and benefiting from other professionals in the industry that are not real estate professionals, so that you can power your business, right? And those are some of the things that not everybody knows, and those are a lot of the things that we can now open book and have available, our beck and call for the people that want to work with us. So for me, all those little pieces just make it super fun, super exciting, and just the best opportunity I've ever seen, in my opinion.
Right. I call it the abundance effect.
Hmm.
It's like it is not normal. And to a certain degree, I'm going to say it almost maybe doesn't almost make even any sense how much abundance there is. And for again, when and this is just my experience as I talk to more and more people. They, I didn't, they'll tell me I didn't even accept friend requests from real estate agents in my market. I don't even want them to know what I'm doing. And two, all of a sudden, they're friend requesting every agent in the market. Say like, I'll share everything with you. We come to EXP and we'll partner and we're working together. And that's happening. I don't know what the impact of that's going to be, but that's pretty unbelievable when you think about it. Like when you really think
Absolutely.
about what this company is creating is this abundance to help others. What is change? That's they're making a big positive impact in the world. That to me is putting a ding in the universe type of impact. And so it's really cool to experience it and be a part of it and to be able to contribute to it.
Absolutely. Very good. And, we're in the 30-minute mark, so I wanted to get to a few of the promises that we made.
Right.
So, unique selling proposition is super powerful. It's your elevator speech. And having something that works, having something that's powerful, unique, is hard to come up with,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to figure out. Okay, what has all the elements of urgency, of measurement, and thankful to you guys for helping me with borrowing yours and the proven and repeatable systems, right? So
Right.
when you call a client and you tell them, I have a proven, repeatable system backed by market research to sell your home for up to 18% more money than traditional real estate methods, we'd like me to show you how we do that. It's just, it sets you apart. And then when you layer all those pieces that we send up front, and the authority pieces and the videos and all these things, it's just standing you up and making you a celebrity, giving you that authority, becoming, not saying that you're an expert advisor because you're saying it yourself,
Right.
but having the backing of a national, brand, and having somebody back you and say you're an expert advisor and we are featuring you on our magazine and we're doing all these things. And I mean, it's your listing to lose after that.
Right.
Once you have that package and that, so that's my unique selling proposition, and it never fails because it triggers the mind, and it tells the seller, okay, proven, repeatable, backed by market research, up to 18%. It's just amazing. So,
Right.
tell me a little bit about the power of that, and obviously now us being able to provide that to more and more agents, and
Right.
blowing it up.
Right. So yeah, amazingly, you won't probably be surprised by this, but it starts from adding value to people's lives. It comes from a place of wanting to add value to the consumer experience. And it's interesting because I've been listening to an audiobook that's by the young kid that was the international chess champion at like 14 years old, and he talks about the difficulty of unpacking his strategy and how he played chess so that he could teach it, and how that was the biggest challenge that he really, that was more difficult than the gameplay he learned over time as he became really good at it. It was hard to unpack that, and that for me was also the most challenging thing to unpack, on what was the process that I used to be so successful at winning listings over my career, so that I could teach it. And then how do we build something that's a duplicatable system that I could give to anybody to use? Because once I stepped out of the business, somebody had to go on that appointment, and if it was about me being there, or about my face, or about all the awards that I won, or how many homes I sold, then it wasn't going to work for the next person. So it had to be duplicatable. And so I think when you really reverse engineer, what is it? And you said it a minute ago. What is it that really what is it that really matters to a seller? That you can measure, that you can deliver, and that you can measure. And then if you can articulate that in a way that differentiates you, creates a defining gap between you as an expert advisor and an average agent who doesn't have a value proposition, then again, there's a reason for someone to listen to what you have to say. There's a reason for them to do business with you. And so that was what we were trying to accomplish. And then what is the system? Is there a process that we as real estate professionals can follow that will allow you to make the value visible to the seller or to the buyer? If you're same thing on the buy side, obviously we have the same kind of training and same different value proposition, same process, methodology. But if we can demonstrate that, and then the seller sees that value, then they have a reason to hire you at your fee, or even more than what the other person may charge, because the value is visible. And that's really hard to do in real estate, right? I mean, we do a lot of work, and I jokingly asked this yesterday to the group I was training. If somebody says, "Well, what do you do for what is it that you do that's valuable, for me in selling my home?" And if anybody had anything to say, I mean, we would probably be talking for 30 minutes about, oh, I do this, and I do that, and I'm available by phone. No, none of that stuff is that's not what they really want. What they really want is they want their equity, and they want as much of it as they can possibly get, and they want it without problems, and they want to know that that you have a process for how you deliver that. And that's what people understand. They understand when you can show them you have a process. And if you can't demonstrate and show them on one page, this is my process, And this is how it helps you sell at the top of the market instead of at the middle or the bottom of the market. Do you want to attract a high offer or do you want to attract a low offer? Well, I want to attract a high offer. Well, this is the 115 variables involved in the home selling process that if we proactively manage can help you attract a higher offer. Did the other agent have a system that they showed you to manage these variables? They didn't. So what do? They hire you, right? So, that's, and then you got to deliver that, right? You got to deliver on the promise. And when you deliver on the promise, what do people do? They go tell everybody else about how you have a system that helps them sell for up to 18% more. And that's how you really grow a business where you're attracting business as opposed to chasing business. And, fortunately for us, we have the ability to share that now with anybody who wants to, become a part of the team.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. The last thing I want to circle back to is sustainability, because, ultimately I feel that that's the trigger piece that as we're building these businesses, we really didn't have. And you look at what we've been doing through the years, and we build these businesses, we have office space, staff, agents, we're impacting so many lives, and it's amazing and it's awesome. But if I get hit by a truck tomorrow and can't show up, unfortunately it starts dying immediately, right? I would give it a few months before things start completely breaking up. And you don't have that sustainability aspect. You don't have that. In addition to that, you look at the sellability of the business. Can I really sell a boutique brokerage? I mean, it is something that right now you can even get for free. There's people paying you to open boutique brokerages. Mm-hmm. And the sellability aspect was not there. So I've been doing this for 12 years. And what I think about is, okay, let's say I would have been part of eXp Realty for those 12 years, right? So my first 6 years, I wouldn't really, perhaps be a top producer because I was struggling. But let's say those last 6 years, I would have been an icon agent those 6 years. I would have had probably over 150,000 just in ownership, just without the growth, right? But just imagine the growth from then to now. It would have been probably over $1 million, maybe $2 million bucks. Who knows what?
If you reverse engineer that, if you reverse engineer from today, I know it would be over $1 million. And,
right.
And we can't predict the stock, moving forward, but you can only imagine a company with 7,000 agents is going to, that has this kind of momentum is only going to continue to grow and double and double and double. And I can only imagine that the stock would follow suit in some way.
Absolutely. And let's say that were to happen, and I want my exit strategy. How easy would it be for me to get my $1 million?
Yeah.
Right?
It's a publicly traded company. That's
right. You go to E-Trade or whatever your stocks are at. You click send, and you get your $1 million.
Right.
Just imagine selling your team. Let's say the team is worth $1 million, which is questionable, right? How fast is it? The process, and they're probably going to want you to nurture them, to teach them how to run it, to do all these things.
A couple of years, you got to stay in part of it. Yeah,
absolutely. So that part alone is super powerful. And as you know, we've mentor, coach, and trained hundreds of agents through that journey.
Right.
Where are those agents, right? They become top producers. They go do their own team. Awesome. I mean, I'm super happy for them. But the alignment wasn't there to keep contributing to those agents. And
right.
Now the alignment is there. So that's
right.
another piece. And ultimately, having that revenue share come in because you're an owner and you're helping the company grow is just sustainable.
Right.
You can count on it. And that's part of the reason why this made so much sense for me, but I also want to bring it up to you, like the agents that we're talking to, the teams that we're talking to. What do you feel are some of the things that they value the most that they're deciding to join us? I mean, we've got people like huge teams and independent brokers and then small agents, everything across the board. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for sure, I think what resonates the most is with those of us at a high level who have built teams or have small independent brokerages. even franchise owners. I mean, people that own Remaxes that are not renewing them and they're wanting to move over to EXP. And it's the business model is when the business model is right. Everything works. And I use the analogy of in real estate, if I sell out 50 homes this month, I got to wake up next month and sell 50 homes again. And I'm not building any real wealth doing that. And to be honest with you, it gets pretty tiring after a while. And do the same thing every day. It's like Groundhog Day. And so what are you doing that's really building you any wealth or any passive, any kind of passive real equity in anything, or passive revenue for that matter? It's every day you got to work for it. So I think what people are getting excited about is that not only do you have the opportunity to build something with the stock opportunity and the equity program at EXP. That's a big piece of it. But the revenue share is something that's never really been executed at this kind of magnitude. There's been a couple of companies that have kind of lightly done it. We know one agent that had made $1.8 million in passive revenue from Exit Realty actually. And but again, everyone exited Exit Realty. So, nobody stayed around at Exit. And so what's going to make people stay was the piece that was really missing and has been missing. And what I see happening is, when you have stocks that vest over 3 years, they're going up in value. Everyone's excited. You tell people about EXP, they still don't even know what it is. You show it to them, they get excited, and they come on board. People are not dumb. When they see this is an opportunity, they say, wow, this is an opportunity for me to cash in on, the influence I have in the community and really help people and a system that, actually creates an exit strategy for an agent or a retirement for an agent, which we don't have currently in your independent brokerage or as your team. We've all been trying to figure out what this should look like, but none of us said, hey, build a nation, a worldwide cloud-based brokerage. Let's go do a merger, reverse merger and go public with it. And then let's create enough shares to give ownership to the agents. None of us saw that, right? Like, I mean, let's just call it what it is. He's brilliant. Glenn Sanford is a visionary, and I believe that they're going to talk about Glenn Sanford like they talk about Steve Jobs in the future. I mean, he really is a visionary, and that's just something I would have never dreamed that. You know what I mean? I was working with the tools I had in front of me every day, not thinking that much of a vision. And that's, I think, what people are getting excited about is when you experience it and then it's better than you expected, right? Like, then you get really excited. It's like, sometimes you do something and you're like, oh, well, it's going to be really hard for a while. Nope. This is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. I'm having so much fun. I'm working with the people I want to work with. The same values, like, it's better than you expect. And so I think that's the the opportunity. Anytime you put opportunity in front of real estate agents, they are going to look at it. But when you see other really smart people making a decision that make smart decisions, it's impossible to ignore. So, if I was going to predict where this is going, I would say, you really just need to get on board now and not, get off the fence and just be a part of what's about to happen. Even if you do nothing, you're going to do well. If you could just get on board and just ride the rocket, you're going to do well. But if you get on the rocket and you decide to work, you have a wealth opportunity that I've never seen in my lifetime. And that's what I believe a lot of people see in the opportunity, and they're still doing real estate. You're going to do the things you do every day anyways. You're going to sell a house, this house, you're going to sell that one, you're going to list one, you're going to sell one. You might as well earn some stock in a publicly traded company. You might as well be able to tell some of your friends about this awesome company, and when they come on board, you should get paid for that. And I think that's a pretty smart business model in my mind. That's why they're organically growing the way they are. They're just rewarding us for telling people how much we love it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Jay, you have been an amazing guest. I thank you for taking the time to join me here and give tremendous value to the community. And for those of you that are watching next week, we'll be announcing another guest, and we'll keep bringing you a ton of value. And any questions, any reservations that you have about what this is or why we're doing this or how does it work, how do I get my hands on it, definitely reach out to me. I'll also be posting a link where you can straight, watch a webinar with Jay Kinder, who, we'll explain to you exactly what we're doing, how it works, and why we're, so excited about the opportunity. And, ultimately, this is all open book, all available to you. If you want to remove the guesswork out of your business and just build your business, build your career, build your sustainability, and have fun in the process, we're your people. Let's go.
That's it.
All right, Jay.
Appreciate you,
Thank you so
Carlos.
much.
Thanks, buddy.
Take
Have a great
care.
day. Yeah.